Tim Pool says Turning Point USA, the organization founded by Charlie Kirk, might have seen its last days, that the organization may go under without Charlie at the helm. Well, we sort of agree, unfortunately. But also, folks, we've uncovered something. What if we told you that it may be that YouTube unwittingly is accidentally destroying TP USA?
And I said it before, I'll say it again. Turning Point's not going to make it without Charlie.
Hello, folks. Hello, friends. Welcome back yet again. Explaining entertainment is the game here, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we do. And today we've got a dandy of a story, not in a good way, but because we've got an exclusive coming your way. Folks, click the like button, share, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on this. We've got this out of Tony Michaels from X, says Tim Pool admits TPUSA cannot survive without Charlie Kirk. And that's probably true, although Erica, it's tough for a grieving widow to come through and, suddenly hoist an organization upon her shoulders. I think she has the capacity to, make the organization work and even grow. That's a tall order to ask of somebody who's just lost their loved one. We're going to get to this in just a second, okay? I'm going to play that timcast is saying, or Tim Pool is saying that, this is not going to go well for TPUSA. But before we do, I got to set the table for you. There's something going on at YouTube that I'm not sure Tim knows about. I'm not sure many people know about. And we're going to bring this out right now. Grums says this, who is Mark Kern. He's the guy who basically was he basically made World of Warcraft be successful, right? He's the game project manager for it. Retention director for Mr. Beast and others blows the lid on why YouTube views are dropping off for everyone. Short answer, they are trying to be TikTok. Only recent views count. Older content getting memory hold in algorithm. Now, Mario down here, I guess, is the retention director for Mr. Beast. And he's done some serious research on this. And this is going to tell you why TPUSA is in deep, deep trouble. Get ready, folks. Get ready. It says, important thread, the YouTube algorithm actually changed for the worse. I've been thinking a lot about whether I should or shouldn't address this, yada, yada, yada. Folks, I really recommend, this came out just a couple of days ago. Go read this. It is incredible stuff. Basically, YouTube has handed over it, according to this post, from the guy who handles the retention for Mr. Beast. YouTube handed over a lot of the stuff to AI now, a lot of the moderation and things. And YouTube is very interested in the shorts. Okay? They're very interested in you watching these shorts, and they want to be TikTok and the dopamine hit. And you get that, right? Well, if they are pushing the shorts on you at a very heavy clip, one way they can get you to go watch the shorts is to stop recommending you your favorite channels. And this is why some of your favorite content creators out there, during the holidays when they can ill afford it, are down 50 to 70% in their views. This is the allegation. This is not my summation. This guy's smarter than I am about this sort of thing. But this is what Mario is, I believe, saying, is that YouTube is going full-blown all in on shorts. And you all know, shorts are, I don't know. I don't want to begrudge anybody who enjoys them, but they can be a massive time sink. And they might actually stink for your brain and for young people's brains, right? But they are what they are. Now, why do I bring that up to you? There's something in that post, and we're going to come back to it, that tells you why TPUSA might actually be destroyed by YouTube. Seriously. Turning Point USA might be destroyed inadvertently by YouTube. All right, here's Tim Pool talking about Charlie Kirk and what TPUSA is facing. And at this time, I don't think he either didn't understand at the time or doesn't understand still what's going on at YouTube. But here's what he had to say about the loss of Charlie Kirk and the effect on TPUSA.
And I'll give them some respect by not saying their names. But everyone's very pessimistic. And their concern is that, and I said it before, I'll say it again, Turning Point's not going to make it without Charlie.
No.
Behind the scenes.
That's enough. You get the idea, okay? And I hate that. I hate that for them. I don't know that I agree with it, but I definitely hate it for TPUSA, if that's the case. I will say that when you lose your lead personality, it's very difficult to do what needs to be done to maintain the momentum that was under that person. There are very few people, Charlie Kirk was probably a future president of the United States. You can't just replace that. His wife is the only person who might be able to replace it. And I don't know that she can this quickly. Let's go to another thing that is happening right now. And then I'm going to get into the YouTube thing. Don't go anywhere. I promise you. You're going to learn so much from this in just a second. This is Tim Pool also being negative about what's happening with the Candace Owens situation. I'll play this for you briefly, and then I'm going to show you. And this all ties together. If you're sitting out there wondering, Pro, why are you rambling? Get to it. I promise I'm about to connect every single one of these dots, and you're not going to believe what I have to show you.
Owens has gone full Alex. We pull this back up. Candace Owens has gone full Alex Jones. Now that is wrong. Alex is not this crazy. And it
Now, I'm not going to tell you my opinion about Candace Owens or Tim Pool, or, I guess I have given away that, I'm worried about TPUSA, and I full disclosure, big supporter of TPUSA. I think they did wonderful things. I hope they continue to do wonderful things. I think for the sake of Charlie Kirk's memory and legacy, and for the state of the country, I hope they continue to do wonderful things. Tim Pool says Candace uses basic social engineering manipulation, talking about she left for Thanksgiving and submitted a thing saying that the French were out to get her, and the U.S. government sent back probably an automated reply, "We've received your blah, blah, blah," and then it was turned into a giant story. So Tim says that she's using basic social engineering. And if you go down here, Candace responds, "What are you wanting about today, Tim? Let us know how me replying to someone else on X has affected you so I can try to make it better." And you get the idea, right? They're at each other. Why are they at each other? All right. Let me see if I can get here. Okay. All right. Here's the graph. All right. Back to Mario. And then all this gets tied together in just a second. I'm excited to show this to you. Mario says what we found, talking about the YouTube algorithm and the AI changes that have basically decimated huge numbers of independent channels out there. Hope they get fixed, right? What we found was that somewhere in the middle of September, YouTube had pushed a significant change in their short-form algorithm, which impacted nearly every short-form creator across the platform. Now, we're going to take this and we're going to bring it out into the long format in just a second, which is what we want to focus on. It says, because it affects every creator we all care about. It didn't matter if you were a smaller creator, one of the top 10 creators, we haven't found many people who were spared. What is it that it's doing? This is the key, folks. What we found, Mario says, is that YouTube seems to have implemented a change that strongly prioritizes content uploaded in the last month. 28 to 30 days, still unsure. Okay? What Mario has discovered is that perhaps YouTube has changed so that it's focusing only on how you performed in the last month, while at the same time, the AI has decimated channels in the last month. And therefore, they're doom looping downwards. Now let's go to Social Blade. It's dot connecting time. Everybody ready? PhD level of understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. So glad you're still with me. I'm going to explain why Turning Point is just about to face a reckoning. And I don't wish for that, but it could be because of YouTube and some things they might not have intended to do. I don't know. If we look at Timcast on Social Blade, and we go down here to the gained views weekly, you're going to see that for most of the year, Tim has been pulling, let's call this the average. We've got peaks, we got valleys, but the average is something like 6 million views per week. Okay? And this is one of Tim's channels. He's very successful. 6 million views per week. Since the September change in the algorithm, Tim has been pulling something like 3.5 million, sometimes lower, but about 3.5 million views per week. Now, this is very typical of what all creators are seeing right now. Simply not getting the recommendations, simply not getting the homepage views, not getting the impressions that they had before. How's that affecting Turning Point at USA? Remember, YouTube, according to the guy who runs the deal for Mr. Beast, he says that it's all about the last month. So how's that going for Turning Point USA? Well, you can see there's a massive spike in viewership after Charlie passed away. But look where we are now. Turning Point USA is getting 6 million views, 5 million views, 13 million views, but you can see it's on a steady decline. It's dropping. And lately, 6 million views, 5 million views, not good, right? Because even in its, when nothing was happening back in July, back in the summer, it was getting 12 million views, 17 million views. So Turning Point USA has dropped down to a fraction of where it was, half. right? Okay. I'm so glad you've been here. Let me show you what I want you to see. This is so important. Why is Tim after Candace? Again, you didn't come here for me to tell you what to believe about Candace or Tim or Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to do that. If I did, it wouldn't persuade anybody at this point. That's not the way I do that. I've got the highest IQ audience on YouTube. I'll just be frank with you. And they know what they know. And I don't have to convince people. But I want to bring to light something for you. If we look at Candace Owens and what she's been up to. So Candace, of course, as you know, after the passing of Charlie Kirk, took on a different flavor of her show. Some of you like it, some of you don't. But she took on a different flavor of her show. And in spite of the YouTube algorithm changes, what happened to Candace Owens? Well, if we go back in time, back to when, back in the summer, Candace was a smaller channel than Turning Point USA. You can see that. Turning Point was getting 12 million views, 15 million views in the summer. Candace was getting 12, 6, 8, 16. You get the idea. After the passing of Charlie Kirk and after the flavor change of the channel, she has been getting 20 million pretty darn consistently. I mean, she dropped off a little bit to 18 to 16, but she's been getting 20 million views per week. She is catapulted to be one of the biggest YouTube personalities out there. Now, she did take a break for Thanksgiving. That's why it dropped off here at the very end. But she has consistently been getting massive viewership. She may have doubled, may have tripled her views. Now, tie it all together, folks. You ready? If YouTube has changed the algorithm, boy, I'm excited about you finding this out. If YouTube has changed the algorithm, and it's all about the last 30 days, and they wiped out some of these channels in terms of their viewership because they went to YouTube Shorts and they're focused on that. And yet Candace managed to double or triple her views by doing what she's done. What has that done at the YouTube algorithm? YouTube is looking, apparently, allegedly, according to Mario, YouTube is looking at the channels that have been decimated and saying, oh, well, these, we're not paying attention to what they did 6 months ago. Oh, we're not paying attention to what they did 12 months ago. It's just what did you do the last month? And then YouTube is determining whether or not to signal boost channels or decrease the signal for these channels based on what they did very, very lately. What did Candace do very, very lately? She did a complete change up in terms of what she was covering and the way she was covering it. Her views exploded as a result of it. And what is that doing at YouTube? If this is all true, if the algorithm is true about this, YouTube then, because of this algorithm change and this AI change, is absolutely blasting Candace out there in front of everybody, while at the same time, these other YouTube channels are taking the hit because they didn't do a flavor change. They didn't jump straight into what it is she's up to. Timcast, for example, look, we're down. We're down. Look at these numbers he was pulling, but nothing was happening in May. Nothing was happening in June. Lots of stuff happening right now. And pulling, at best half the views. So what's happening at YouTube? And Turning Point, of course, even worse off, because they don't have their leader to lead them right now to make original content. What this means is that as long as this algorithm is there that is suppressing those who do poorly in the last month, that YouTube may be suppressing them, and it's hyper inflating those who do well in spite of that. What that means is that YouTube may send Candace to the stars and may sink these other stars who didn't do the same thing. Now, you can think that's good. You can think it's bad. But I'm glad that you're here with me to find this out. Because something is happening behind the scenes at YouTube, and unintended consequences may be on the way. And, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up for you to say. All right, folks, that's the video for today. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. Engagement is the key to break free of whatever YouTube is up to these days. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.